So, hi everybody. I'm Erica. I'm with Round Rock Public Library in Round Rock, Texas. I am so excited to introduce our first time presenter for us, hopefully not the last time, Royce Sauce Handy. I will turn it over to him to explain what he is going to be working with us today. And I'm going to put myself on mute and turn my video off, but just yell if you need me. I'll be monitoring the chat for any of your questions.
Okay. All right, so what's up, everybody? What's up to Round Rock, Texas? Shout out to the library for putting on these great events over the month and all the other events they do throughout the year for the community. Once again, I am Royce Sauce Handy. I am a hip hop educator, a entrepreneur, and creative writer. Many things, but my heart is definitely with hip hop, and I love talking about how hip hop is related and just as important as any other writing art form. So today we're going to talk about creative writing through hip hop and how it's so much like when it comes to rap, like it's so much deeper than just rap or what you might hear on the radio or whatever. Like it's hip hop covers the globe. It talks about global issues. It talks about mental health and social justice and all of these great things like that. It's in education. It's a huge part of the economy. It's like a very important thing, and it's 40 plus year history. So I just want to kind of break that down a little bit, and then I'll talk about my personal writing style, how I write, and how I come up with things that I come up with. Then we'll see examples of people using hip hop all around the world, and some of those other things I just talked about, like mental health and stuff like that. And then we'll learn how to count bars as well. You might hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, he got bars" or "she got bars," but a lot of times we don't understand that bars are an actual musical measurement, and a way to stay on beat when you're rapping and to know where you are in place of the beat, and a few other things. So we're gonna get started. I'm gonna do a short PowerPoint about my hip hop education program and just kind of show how I've evolved to get to where I'm at right now and being able to talk about hip hop and the things we've done, just kind of introduce everyone watching to what we've been building here in Kansas City and how we've kind of scaled it and elevated up to really push hip hop education, not just in the classroom, but in the real world as well. And so let me get this share screen. All right, so we have a hip hop education program called We Are Rap. It was born out of the necessity of an anti-violence organization in Kansas City wanting to figure out a way to reach students with art forms that they love or that they're familiar with or that they would participate in. So we brainstormed about it or whatever and came up with We Are Rap. And the whole idea was to give students, high school and middle age students, give them the platform to talk about, create, write about whatever they want, talk about what's going on in their communities. So once again, I'm Royce Sauce Handy. This is my partner, Cortez Marcel, Cortez Addison, in the We Are Rap program. We tour together. We have a local band called New Black City. We played in over 30 cities. We played festivals like South by Southwest, Lincoln Calling in Lincoln, Nebraska. We played film festivals and a few other things like that. We performed in like Atlanta, Chicago, Birmingham, Alabama, a lot of places.
And when you come back to South by Southwest, make sure you come visit us in Round Rock because we're just north of Austin.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yep. Right in our backyard.
Yeah, okay. Great to know. All right, so Yeah, hip hop entrepreneurs. We are rap, of course, and then we created a monthly hip hop showcase for up and coming artists in Kansas City called Rap Asylum. And we paid every artist. A lot of artists, this is their first time ever getting paid for a concert. We paid them. We sold tickets. We showed them the behind the scenes and what it looks like to really put on a hip hop show. And we also booked some established artists as well to kind of bring the community together around that. But our main focus was kind of getting artists who may have never performed or sold their music, but were wanting to give them a platform. So we've worked with various community organizations. We speak, teach, and things of that nature as well. Now, talked about how we got here, how it started. Damon Daniels of Ad Hoc Group Against Crime. That picture right there is me on the left of the guy in the bow tie. That's Mayor Slot James, the former mayor of Kansas City, Missouri. And on the right, there's Cortez, and then some of our students around. This is a group called Teens in Transition, and this was one of our first pilots that we did in 2017, and it was a huge hit, and everybody loved it. So from there, we worked with Front Porch Alliance. We worked with all kind of local schools. We worked with City Union Mission, which is like a rescue and abused and battered home. We worked with Boys and Girls Clubs, YMCA's, various organizations like that. So I've always had a love for writing, for reading, education, period. I used to collect Goosebump books when I was younger, and that's how I kind of got into, that's kind of how I segue into hip hop, because I fell in love with storytelling. And when I heard Tupac, Biggie, Master P, I was like, yo, these guys are telling stories that I can relate to, that are things that are happening right outside of my doors, right? So I've always had this focus to join the two. And one of the most profound hip hop education leaders in the country name is Christopher Emdin. And he defines hip hop education as an approach to teaching and learning that focuses on the use of hip hop culture and its elements in teaching and learning both within and outside of traditional schools. So where we fit in is with We Are Rap. We have a program that develops urban youth leaders via hip hop. It aims to raise the consciousness of participants by providing a structured space to produce thought-provoking and culturally relevant art by them creating it, not us directing them, but us just being there for support and teaching them kind of like, this is how you count bars. This is how you write a rap, or this is how you go buy a beat. We're showing them just different things like that, but they come up with the concepts, what they want to talk about, etc. We use creative writing, technology, and entrepreneurship. We talk about the music industry and all of the different components that go a part of not just creating a rap, but if you want to actually get into the business side of it as well. So we talked a lot about career opportunities in hip hop. We talked about other hip hop educators in our city that do other aspects of hip hop, like graffiti or breakdancing, etc. We also highlighted Nas, who has a hip hop fellowship at Harvard, Nelly, who started a school that you can actually get an associate's degree for recording engineering in St. Louis. Ninth Wonder, who was a Grammy Award winning producer. He's produced for Jay-Z and many other people. He's a lecturer of hip hop history. And Tay Keith recently became an honorary professor at his school in Tennessee. Tay Keith has produced for Lil Baby, Drake, Block Boy JB, and a few other new age artists. Mariah Parker. This is a young lady we met on tour in Alabama. She's a rapper. She, at the time, was a teaching assistant finishing up her PhD, and she also finished a term as the county commissioner in Athens, Georgia. I believe she was the first Black woman county commissioner in Athens, Georgia. So not only is she rapping on tour, well, we met her, but she's in school, finishing up, becoming a doctor, and she's also into politics. So these are the ways that hip hop travels across many different lanes outside of the stage. So on the left, you have Nelly in class with some of his students. In the middle, you have Nas at the Hip Hop Archive Research Institute, which is at Harvard. And then on the right, you have Mariah Parker. So now, Another thing that we're developing, and this is kind of for your eyes only type of thing, but we have a bus. Okay, we acquired a bus for our students to be able to make our program mobile. So the rap bus was what it's called. The rap bus will be filled with a small studio space, a writing space, a couple TVs, some games, and things of that nature. And we'll be able to not only um, come and provide entertainment or something like that, but to actually have our classes, our courses on the bus. So during COVID, we lost a lot of our in person programming. So we kind of pivoted to figure out a really cool, innovative way to still do what we do, but bring it right to the students that we are targeting. So coming soon, the rap bush. Y'all look out for that.
And
You are
I
rap.
want to see that because that looks fun. But I want to say hi too. We just had a couple of new people join us, so welcome to everybody.
Okay. Hey, thank y'all for joining. Thank y'all for joining. So I was just doing a quick introduction, and
Well,
we're
what
gonna
you're
get it.
saying speaks to me so much because I'm 46, so I'm pretty old. So, I mean, I remember hearing my first rap song ever.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm old. I mean, but I just feel like these are the stories that I grew up with. This
Right.
is music that has always been in my life. Anyway,
Right.
sorry
Right.
to
Right.
interrupt you.
No, no problem. No problem. So quick introduction now. A lot of times, and especially when I was growing up, and it's changed. It's changed now, but um, years ago, or maybe recent years ago, rap doesn't get the same like credibility as what we would say like poetry or writing a short story or a novel. And I wanted to make a case for its place in the creative writing world because I think that um, it's often overlooked because people don't like certain styles of rap or the way that rappers are portrayed in the media and things of that nature. And I think that it's so much more deeper than rap. Like the title of this is so much more than what a record label shows us or what the radio may show us. We're talking about a genre of music that was born out of protest, that was born in the midst of struggle, and that has carried um, um, black and brown people for 40 years. It's become the soundtrack to people's lives, the inspiration. I mean, Kendrick Lamar's "We Gonna Be All Right" was the theme song for the Black Lives Matter movement at its peak. So, like, hip hop is an incredibly multifaceted thing, and I think that rap is just the things that rap has done with language and communication. Um, I don't think anything else has done what it has done. So let me pull that up real fast. Oh, where did it go? All right, so I'm just trying to get through this real briefly. I don't want to bore anybody with the reading, but I like to really hit on these points. It kind of influences more of the interactive stuff we'll do a little bit later here. All right, screen share. There we go. All right. All right. So rapping or rhyming, spitting, MCing, aka all of these words, is a musical form of vocal delivery that incorporates rhyme, rhythmic speech, and street vernacular. It's performed or chanted in a variety of ways, usually over a backing beats or music, a beat. Historically, rap has often been denied as a true writing art form, though it shares the same techniques as any other creative writing style known as literary techniques. So according to literarydevices.com, literary devices or literary techniques are specific structures that writers often use to add meaning or create more compelling stories for the reader. Some common examples are metaphors, alliteration, similes, hyperbole, imagery. These techniques can give a reader a greater understanding and meaning of the writer's intent. Rappers consist of all of these. Rapping consists of all of these things as far as creating the art piece, and more like selecting topics and form, editing, rhyming techniques, putting words to music, collaborating, vocal techniques, studio tips, etc. So these are some of the main pieces of rap. And what I come to find out is that rappers may do this unconsciously. Like they might not even think this way, but this is just how, like the science of it, right? But me, sometimes I don't even know. I'm just writing or I'm just performing it and it just comes. So first you got the flow. Flow is defined as the rhythm and rhymes of a hip hop song lyrics and how they interact. In the book How to Rap, they break down flows into rhyme schemes, and rhythm, also known as your cadence. So basically, the way that your rhyme is carrying itself on the song, that's the flow, right? Like, oh, he can flow, right? So, um, secondly, you have the delivery. To successfully deliver a rapper must also develop vocal presence, enunciation, breath control. These things are very important, and they were one of the biggest highlights with rap until recent with what they label mumble rap. Well, what happened is that I think that mumble rap transcended just the words and turned words into sounds and turned the actual words into um, these things. And so they just kind of transcended being more than just words. So that's why right now a lot of hip hop you hear is melodic, because the melody has kind of become the forefront thing versus the words like it was, back in the late 80s, 90s, even some of the early 2000s. But now it's all about the melody. So but with that being said, delivery still goes a strong way, especially with live performances. When you performing live, you want to have these things down packed, breath control, those type of things, so you can give your audience really an experience. Next, you have the different styles of rap. You have the chant, our ad libs. A lot of the repetitive ad libs used by Migos, Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. You have the syncopated bounce, aka the fast rapping, used by Twista, Tech Nine, Eminem. Then you have straightforward rap, which basically is just, I don't want to say it's nothing special about it, because it is something special about it. Um, there's not a lot of tricks. Like it is what it is, right? So Tupac, one of the greatest rappers ever, right? That's what he was really known for. Ti, Rick Ross, Ice Cube. Ti can get a little technical. It's Snoop Dogg. The Rubik's Cube. This is like the rap where it's like connecting the dots. Like if you really love creative writing, you will love these rappers. Kendrick Lamar, Nas, Lupe Fiasco, Eminem once again. Jay-Z can do a little bit of this as well. And they have a lot of songs that you have to listen to a lot of times to really understand what they're talking about, or to really get it and kind of peel back the layers of the meaning of the story, or the meaning of that one bar that he said. How many times did that, hit those different techniques? And last, you have the singing rhythm style, aka the new age melodic sound, popularized right now by Drake. But before Drake, you have 50 Cent, Ja Rule, DMX, RP DMX. These guys will often employ melodies alongside their hardcore raps. Also, Bone Thugs and Harmony. Literally, their name is Bone Thugs and Harmony, because they all would harmonize with each other while rapping. So that's kind of all of the styles. and kind of how they, evolved from the older rappers to new age rappers. So, of course, you have the rhyme. This is probably the single most important part of rap. This is what makes rap versus poetry or versus telling a short story or reading a novel. The rhyme gives rap its musicality. So you think about a nursery rhyme and how you're easy a kid can learn it so fast because it has this musicality to it that keeps them going along with it. When they hit that rhyme, they're looking for the next one, right? So MCs use many different rhyming techniques, including complex rhyme schemes, as Adam Crims points out. Adam Crims is a hip hop scholar. The complexity involves multiple rhymes in the same rhyme complex section with consistently rhyming words. Internal rhymes, those when you have a bar, we'll talk about bars later, you have a bar, you have rhyming words on the end and maybe at the beginning. But internal rhymes, you have rhymes that rhyme in the middle. And that's when rappers are really getting creative and getting complex and really putting that thought into it. You have offbeat rhymes, and then a lot of people say G Herbo, one of my favorite rappers from Chicago right now. They say he raps offbeat. He really doesn't rap offbeat. He just has a very uh, unique style, I would say. So there's also a widespread use of multi-syllable rhyme schemes by such artists as Eminem. Lastly, it has been noted that rap's use of rhyme is some of the most advanced in all forms of poetry. Music scholar Adam Bradley notes, rap rhymes so much and with such variety that it is now the largest and richest contemporary archive of rhymed words. It has done more than any other art form in recent history to expand rhyme's formal range and expressive possibilities. Rhyme is often thought to be the most important factor in rap writing because rhyme is what gives rap lyrics their musicality. All right, so from there you have subject matter. You got party songs, love songs, you got religious songs, protest songs. You have diction and dialect, looking at how different rappers from different areas of the nation sound differently, how their slang is different, how they pronounce words are different. Someone who's from Dallas, Texas, or Houston, Texas, they don't sound like the rapper from Kansas City or a rapper from the Bay Area. It's a little bit different. They have a whole different culture, right? But it all blends in together. Freestyle and battle rap, one of the most innovative ways to really see rap on display is watching battle rap. So yeah, so that's just, I always like to add that in there to really show what rap has been doing all of these years. It's evolving as a creative writing art form. All right. Where was I at? All right, so I did have a video called "The Importance of Rhyme," but I will not be able to play it today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show my personal writing style and how I write and how I come up with um, you know, my music, my bars. So I'm gonna actually write it because my touch screen is not working. I usually draw it, but it's cracked. My screen is cracked. So I'm gonna draw it. But I start off with a web graph. All right. So for you all who have been in school, right? Start off with a web graph. I usually put a circle right in the middle. And I don't usually like literally do this on paper. I'm doing this in my mind. All right. So I'm a very themed rapper. I want to know what I'm talking about. I want to know, I want to have a concept together before I even hear a beat. Or sometimes hearing a beat may inspire my concept, but I want to start with a concept. I very rarely start off randomly. I want to at least try to build up to what I'm getting at. All right, so let's do Sunflower Boy. All right, so I grew up in I live in Kansas City, Missouri now, but I grew up in Kansas City, Kansas, which is we're like twin cities, like St. Paul and St. Paul and Minneapolis. Um, so literally, you could just walk across the state line. Kansas City, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri. Well, Kansas is called the Sunflower State. All right, so I wrote a song called Sunflower Boy. And this song is basically telling the story of how a lot of young men who grew up in the area of Kansas that I grew up in called Wyandotte County, um, how they are faced with hardships of growing up in the urban area, growing up in neighborhoods that have food deserts in them, high crime, low wage jobs, no access to good public health and things of that nature. So this song Sunflower Boy is basically giving a peek into his life and how he's looking at life through the lens of growing up in this area. And it's ironic because sunflower is supposed to be like this beautiful flower, right? And growing up, I never seen a sunflower until I was grown. So it's Sunflower Boy is like, man, you growing up around all these beautiful things, but you never get to experience them. And this song is inspired also by a song that Tupac had called, a poem that Tupac had called "A Rose That Grew from the Concrete." And the idea of this is that how can something so beautiful come from something that is supposed to um, that it's supposed to die in, right? The concrete, a rose is not supposed to come up through the concrete. So the more they've buried us, the society has done things to these sunflower boys. We're hoping that they figure a way out how to shine, and get that sunlight and grow. So my imagery was the same as what Tupac was trying to get across with the rose that grew from concrete. So we got Sunflower Boy at the top. We got my web graph going. Looks like Spider-Man's logo or something. So I always start with my theme, and this whole song I'm using as a metaphor. I'm personifying the sunflower and using it as a complete metaphor to describe his life. So every piece of the sunflower is describing the boy's life, right? So in the middle, I got sunflower. All right, so I got exactly my theme, sunflower. This is how I think. Now I think immediately what goes with the sunflower. All right, so you got sun, light, um, water, what else we got? We got sun, light, water, dirt, seeds. All right. Now, from there, I got all of these things that go inside with the theme, right? From there is when I start figuring out what words are going to rhyme to make my story make sense. So with sun, I'm writing down all the words that rhyme with sun. Or water, if I'm going to talk about water, all the words that rhyme with that, or light, etc. So this is how I go, and I'm going to play play a little bit of the song so you can hear it. I think I'll find it on YouTube or something, and I'm going to break down the lyrics. I'll make it real quick. I'm going to play the song first, just a piece of the song, and then I'll break down some of the lyrics. Hold on, not Spotify on my computer. Soulful 4. All right, let's see if I can pull this up.
Hey, Sauce, I found it on SoundCloud if you want me to share it this way.
Oh yeah, yeah, you can do that. I forgot all about SoundCloud. I don't even use SoundCloud anymore, but
Yeah, right.
uh,
Me
yeah,
either.
you can
Okay.
play it on SoundCloud.
Okay. Can you hear it?
No.
Okay. Hang on, let me figure out. I will try to share it. Young black sunflower growing through the concrete, sitting in the sun shower, sprouting like palm trees. Legal, but it's on me. Trust my weapon only. So many close calls, you thought I was a four-leaf. She was like a rose, and the petals were her peaches. All I got was thorns, I didn't know how to treat her. I smoke and I'm double cussed. How I treat my trauma, cause the world trying to shut me up. Slapping dear mama, and the thug life of my niggas. Grinding till we get it. Never ever had much, so we in private, make it the illest. And I bet every ghetto in the world feel it, cause this is the realest. We gonna make it, even though the police wanna kill us. Keep your felonies, they can never define our worth. Like, you ain't never ever seen diamonds up in the dirt shine. I'm just trying to live, death is so impatient. From a boy into a man to something greater. We've been running through these acres. Survival is our fragrance. Should've made us sacred, but all they did was plague us. Should've made us sacred, but all they did was plague us. We got lead in our guns and our water, it's contagious. Young black sunflower growing through the concrete, sitting in the sunshine.
All right, you can go ahead and stop it.
I love that. Diamonds in the dirt, you never see us shine.
Yeah, right. So like the whole song is like all of these different references to flowers and how they should grow. And
And I just put the
so
link in the chat for everybody.
got it. So on the first verse, through the concrete, sitting in the. All right. So on the first verse, all right. Young black sunflower. Growing out the concrete. Sitting in a sun shower. Sprouting like palm trees. So now I'm bringing in other trees and flowers in, right? Instantly, I go into the mindset of Sunflower Boy. Illegal, but it's on me. Illegal, but it's on me. So he's talking about a weapon, right? Illegal, but it's on me. Trust my weapon only. Then I go right back into those flower references. So many close calls. So many close calls with death. So many close calls with tragedy. So many close calls. You thought I was a four-leaf. So I like that because it's, I'm alluding to another flower by saying four-leaf, but you know what I'm saying, right? Four-leaf clover. That means you're lucky. So many close calls. You thought it was a four-leaf. So instantly he already knows, like, to be able to even share his story, man, he's lucky. He's overcome some things that a lot of people don't get to overcome. So young black sunflower growing out the concrete, sitting in the sun shower, sprouting like palm trees. Illegal, but it's on me. Trust my weapon only. So many close calls. You thought I was a four-leaf. She was like, all right. So now he's getting into how he views and how he understands relationships. not just with women, but I use this to highlight another flower. All right, she was like a rose. All right. You say a rose is still a rose, baby girl, you're still a flower. That's Aretha Franklin, y'all. Y'all look that up. She was like a rose, and the petals, rose petals, were her features. So obviously, he liked this girl. But all I got was thorns because I didn't know how to treat her. So just like us, when we don't know about roses and not grabbing them by the stem and not being careful, we get poked. Same thing with this. So this whole, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These first 6 bars are like just packed with different flowers and metaphors, kind of setting you up for the rest of the story with the song. So y'all can listen to the rest of the song and check it out, and really understand the point I'm making. But this is how I come up with my music, and I do a lot of this in my head, like um, I write in my phone or write piece of paper, but a lot of times I come up with phrases or whole rhyme schemes in my head, and I will record them and listen to them and do the same thing. Come up with another 4 bars, add it to it. Like I might just like mentally write it, mentally do it and just record it and make sure I have it, even if it's just a rough draft, a sample, or if I get inspired by something, I might think of a rhythm that I want to write something to, and then I'll just record it. I'll send it to one of my producers and like, yo, could you make this, make a beat out of this sound that I made? And a lot of times it's successful, but yeah. So interesting thing about Sunflower Boy, I got the beat from a guy named Dominic Sanders. He's from Kansas City, Missouri, and he's a producer. He's produced for like Nipsey Hussle. He was just playing bass guitar for Dr. Dre. He's produced for like a lot of Tech Nine, a lot of big name people, and he whenever he comes back to Kansas City, he still locks in with us guys who are still here, that aren't so big. And he's like, yo, I'm doing a beat sale. I want to show y'all some love. So, this song just went so perfectly the way it came about. But that's how I write. Other people may do something different, but that makes sense to me. I like to make it make sense. So next thing we're going to do, we're going to look at how rap is influencing the world and has influenced the world. All right. So we already know that hip hop, originated in the Bronx, New York, starting with black and brown people at a block party. Now, at this point in time, the DJs were the life of the party, not the rapper. The rapper wasn't the guy seen on stage. Everything was about the DJ because the DJ had the ability to play all these songs, but they would be playing funk music, soul music, all this type of music that they grew up on, and they will be mixing the tracks together. And the MC was more like introducing the DJ and like shouting at everybody in the party, keeping the party going, but he wasn't necessarily rapping, so to think from there. And at this time, there was a lot of turmoil going on in urban New York neighborhoods. So from the music now being one of the biggest parts of hip hop, you can see how or why rap is so is so important today, because at that time you had breakdancing, graffiti, and you had music. You had movies about hip hop, but it wasn't necessarily about rap. You had movies like Breaking. It was about breakdancing. It was about hip hop culture. Graffiti. At that time being a rebellious art form, a way to get a message across, to write, a powerful message on the side of a wall or a train, right? You had breakdancing, the freedom of expression, that the young people were getting together and doing a new form of dance and kind of doing whatever they wanted, And this is what these block parties provided. They kind of provided the soundtrack for um, these things to kind of develop. So over time, the MC became more important. Started rapping, started rhyming, and rap just became so infectious. Just the way, the musicality of the rhymes and the different messages in the music and different ways to talk about different things. So now, now you've got rappers all over the world. You got rappers in South America who rap in their native languages. You have Native American rappers. You have rappers in Africa. You have rappers Asia. You have so many different artists. Uh, I know right now, London, uh, the London rap scene, that grime, that drill, that grime, that New York kind of adapted right now, like that sound of Fabio and Pop Smoke, that that beat, that sound is from London, So it's interesting how now you have other areas of the world encouraging and influencing artists from America. So it's kind of that transfer of hip hop and just kind of how it reaches out to the entire world. But specifically, we've seen rap used in certain ways. We've seen rap. You just watched the Super Bowl. That was a hip hop concert. Never in the history of you never seen nothing like that before, right? Dr. Dre on the piano, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent. Like, it's huge. So I remember a couple years back, Snoop Dogg did a commercial for Pepsi, all right, for the Super Bowl. And you see rappers in commercials all the time now. It's nothing big. But like that made me think about how influential Pepsi must think hip hop is. For them to pay Snoop Dogg to say, hey, come rap in our commercial, basically promote our Pepsi products because somebody out there may listen to you, right? So that already shows on the commercial aspect how important rap is. If you watch any movie right now, any TV show, there's some type of um, rap song or some type of discussion about hip hop or something in there. So like I say everybody who's born in the last 40 years are influenced by hip hop in some type of way. Um, some people does not, but
When I was little, it was Curtis Blow doing a Sprite commercial. That was
see,
huge.
yes, Curtis Blow. These are the breaks. One of the most foundational hip hop songs. Y'all go check that out. Curtis Blow, one of the foundational hip hop artists that really did some big things commercially, and helped change the face of hip hop. So you get to see those things, and starting from where it started at, it has always kind of carried that same tune of the protest, of the social justice within it, right? Because it's so easy to um, communicate a message with hip hop. You can understand, like, you have rappers who will rap a whole history of something in a rap song. You have rappers who you have students who have done their final projects in hip hop song. They rapped them, like things like so. Like it's crazy how people are using hip hop because of its ability. Now, for example, hip hop and mental health. All right, we know mental health has become a huge topic online and in the real world among young people, among black and brown people who have generally not had access to or even had the time to even think or talk about mental health. So, look, this is a article. I'm gonna show y'all. All right, this is by Hashinabadi. How rappers are helping to break the stigma of mental illness. Now, peep this out. All right. We got all the stats and all of that. We already know cultural barriers and poor social economic status make it harder for people from communities of color to seek help. Mental health issues come with a stigma and are often seen as a weakness or simply white people problems. To make matters worse, there are a general shortage of mental health providers and even fewer therapists from minority backgrounds. This creates another barrier for people of color who might prefer to talk to a therapist they can identify with. All right, now, peep this out. All right, so this is 1982. We talking about hip hop is a baby. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five released a song called "The Message." The words describe social inequality, injustice, and a sense of frustration still prevalent in communities um, that the U.S. society seems to forget. In "Mind Playing Tricks on Me" in 1991 by Ghetto Boys, they rapped about the street life and how drug use can lead to paranoia, depression, and suicide. All right, this is a very important song in the 90s. If you ever heard of a rapper called Scarface, he comes from this group called Ghetto Boys. I believe they're out of Houston, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. Scarface is a really big thing in this area. And Bushwick Bill, RIP Bushwick Bill, he passed away from cancer a few years ago. It was a big blow to the hip hop community. I actually met Bushwick Bill at South by Southwest. He had his own stage. He let us perform. So that was like, a huge thing for us. But all right, then you got Suicidal Thoughts from Notorious B.I.G.'s 1994 debut, Ready to Die. This is one of the most critically acclaimed hip hop albums of all time. All right, now this is years before Kanye talked about publicly his bipolar disorder and things of that nature. Now look, in 2013, Kid Cudi spoke about his antidepressant medication, emotional breakdown, seeking therapy. All right, at this time, it still wasn't a big thing. Kid Cudi has stepped away from music for a while. If anybody's a Kid Cudi fan, you know he stepped away for a while. Why? To take care of his mental health. All right. 2015, Tyler the Creator discussed having a mental breakdown. All right. Jay-Z talked about the stigma attached to mental health among African Americans. Meek Mill compared the trauma from his time in the streets to a soldier experiencing PTSD, something he referenced in his track Trauma on his album Championships. All right. So Big Sean talked about his battle with anxiety and depression in a series of Instagram posts on his 30th birthday. Likewise, Diddy grieved over the loss of Kim Porter, the mother of his children, on Instagram and the media, etc., etc. This is what I'm getting at. This is how powerful hip hop is. Logic, Logic, the rapper Logic. He performed a song called 1-800-273-8255. The track, that number is the actual number of the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. He did it in 2017 at the MTV and VMAs. Millions of people watching, right? Calls to the organization went up by 50%. They tripled after he performed the song at the Grammys. The song's video, which stars Don Cheadle, who is War Machine for you Marvel fans, and Luis Guzman. I forget exactly what actor this is, but among others, they're very popular actors. It's reminiscent of Moonlight, the Oscar-winning coming-of-age drama in which a young black man suppresses his sexual identity and deals with damaging consequences of toxic masculinity. All right, so Logic did a song about it, and this is the video. All right, it's a great video. Look, this is what. So one of the people they're interviewing in here is a therapist, and this is what they're saying. I have noticed a shift in that a lot more people of color seek psychotherapy than in the past, and their decisions are far less motivated by a current crisis. All right. All of this shows how rap has made a difference, not just among black people, but across society. It makes it easier for all kinds of other people to see themselves in that situation rather than do what those artists have talked about on records previously. When seeking out help was perceived to be sort of the weaker route, says A.D. Carson, professor of hip hop in the Global South at University of Virginia. To hear your favorite rapper talking about getting treatment I think it definitely changes how you have that conversation. All right, so they're telling us right now how vitally important hip hop is, especially when it's being serious and talking about very important things like mental health. So to see the same hip hop that can make someone go out and buy Pepsi because Snoop Dogg was in a commercial is the same thing that would make somebody want to call the suicide prevention hotline when an artist like Logic performs his song titled as the number for it at the Grammys. All right, I got a couple more examples. Couple more examples. Um, how do I minimize this? Because I need to see I need to see my tabs. All right. The ultimate goal of hip hop mental health is to cultivate a level of consciousness, thus empowerment through healing feelings of shame. No, that's not the one I'm looking for. All right, we talked about Tay Keith becoming a professor already. Um, that's it. It's one more that talks about Chicago. Chicago gets a lot of flack for the violence there, but it talks about a rapper named G Herbo, who I mentioned before, one of my favorite artists from Chicago. He, Chance the Rapper, talked about PTSD. He had an album. G Herbo had an album called PTSD, where he um, talked about how growing up in Chicago, you know, he had to deal and go get therapy and deal with the things that he experienced, you know, as a young boy. And he led a movement to go and talk about these issues across schools. He raised money. He did giveaways and things of that nature and gave back to the community. Created a whole movement and got people signed up to go to free therapy and things of that nature. So this is the power that hip hop has. I know we're running out of time. I'm gonna um, I gotta share this next one though. This is another one. This is another one. Now, let's see here. Where's my? Nope, nope, nope. All right, this is the next one. Saudi female rapper celebrates lift of driving ban with new video. Her name is Lisa A. She went viral by dropping a song that marks the end of decades-long ban preventing women from driving. Yes, just recently, as 2018, Saudi Arabia had a law where women couldn't drive. All right, so they lifted the ban and women were able to drive. The first piece of news that came out of this, outside of like the regular story, was her getting into a car, driving, and rapping about the newfound freedom she has in driving. You got to watch this. تحسبني امزح هي ناسي هي لا تكون ناسي لا تكون ناسي تحسبني امزح هي لا تكون ناسي انه اليوم 10 يعني ما في تكاسي الطارة بين يدي الدعسة تحت رجلي ما بطلب احد يوصلني حخدم نفسي بنفسي الرخصة جاهزة معايا شدي الحزام فوق العباية وانتي ماشي خلي عينك على الرصيف وعين على المراية ارتي ارجعي ودي سيدة انتبهي من كل حديدة لو كانت فوق ولا كرسيدة حياتك ما بتكون سعيدة تعالي مريني وديني جيبيني كده بتخرب الخطة لو تبوني اجيكم لازم كل واحدة تدفع القطة قطة البنزين فيها لا تستهين دين واذا رقبتي ولا دفعتي هذا عليك دين انتبهي تسكي الباب بقوة ده كان زمان دحين تقفلي الباب بقوة اربطك بحزام الامان. Alright, so I don't know the language, so I didn't understand what she was saying, but I understood the rhythm, the beat, the passion behind it, and the reason why she made a rap video. And of course, it goes viral. Why? Because it's a rap video talking about a very important thing that people didn't know about. People didn't know that in Saudi Arabia, women couldn't drive just as you know in 2018. So The video soon went viral in Saudi Arabia, accumulating over 1.5 million views on YouTube and Instagram combined. The BBC reports that Lisa A had a small social media following prior to the video, which ends comically with a newly behind the wheel rapper running into some beginner driver issues. All right. So, the band, a longtime target for women's rights activists, became a symbol of defiance in the country, with many women posting videos on social media of themselves driving in recent years. So they were pushing to raise this ban, no matter what. So, I just thought this was just so cool to see all the way in Saudi Arabia, somebody saying, you know what, I'm gonna make a rap song, I'm gonna shoot a video and celebrate the ban being lifted, while I'm in the car. So um, we'll stop sharing from there. All right, so hopefully I'm not talking too fast and this is making sense for everybody, because I just really wanted to just really show how rap, hip hop is just so much more deeper than surface level stuff that we've seen and we've been introduced to or that we might listen to. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, entertainment is entertainment, but it's deeper than that. And once you start figuring out like rap's origins and also how it carries this similar theme of a lot of black genres that have evolved in America, from Negro spirituals to gospel to jazz to blues, to even R&B, and how all of these things have basically been foundations for hip hop and foundations for popular music in general, whether it's pop or rock or whatever. That similar song of protest and struggle has been carried along this whole time, and hip hop is here leading the way still all across the globe. Artists are using it to talk about very important and very deep things. So I think I got one more thing here. All right, so so in my program, We Are Rap. The reason I like really working with students is like I wanted to create something that I wish I had when I was in school. When I first started rapping, we was beating on tables and rapping at the rapping in the lunchroom and battle rapping and stuff like that. But I wanted to have something a little bit more structured that I thought that students would like. Now we had a presentation at a library in North Kansas City. It's like literally north of Kansas City, and we had one person that signed up and came, and I was kind of bummed. Like, man, like we have 10 people in this. Yeah, we create some music together. Like this young lady, I think she was 13 years old, and she went to a local school. She said she just heard about it and said she just wanted to come and check it out, see what it was. She never heard nothing like this out here in North Kansas City, especially at the library, hip hop at the library. She was like, I want to come. So I went through this presentation, not this exact one, but I went through a presentation talking about how to count bars and all of this, right? And hip hop history. And she never rapped a day in her life. She said she doesn't want to be a rapper. She likes hip hop, but she don't want to be on stage rapping. She wrote 8 bars of dedication to her father who had passed away when she was younger. She told me that she had never publicly opened up about what her father meant to her, but she felt like she could communicate it through hip hop. And I was like, yo, this is one person that came out, but this is the impact. It may not seem wide because it's only one person, but the impact is deep. And I understand that it's deeper than rap. So to see her, say, hey, I want to create something in remembrance of my father, and how, her rap was like so good. Like he was such a great father, and his untimely passing really hurt her. So for her to be like, yo, I want to pick a beat and I want to rap And I didn't know what she rapping about at first until she like we always kind of like performing to each other like, hey, anybody want to get up and share what they wrote? So when it's not a lot of students, I write something just to kind of get them going. I didn't even need. She was like, yo, I'm ready, and she told me afterwards like I never did anything like this before publicly and talked about my dad. So I appreciate you guys for coming. We was just blown away. So that's like the power of hip hop, the power of creative writing, all of these layers peeled back from rap and really looking at it for the power that it has, and that's what I'm trying to spread across the world. So um, that's it. That's the presentation.
Well, we appreciate it. I've got a question, if that's okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
So, when we look at the different kinds of styles, how do you suggest a totally new person like me kind of figure out how my voice works with that? What kind of style sort of speaks to me or what I can make happen?
Um,
Would it just be getting my thoughts down first and going from there?
yeah. So it's a few ways you can freestyle.
Hmm.
Freestyle is literally putting on a beat and just saying whatever's coming to your head. Um, you can write that down and keep what you want, throw away what you don't want, and figure out how it fits, and where it fits. Another thing is listen to some hip hop that you like, and then let it kind of influence you to get started. So an artist that I used to love when I was younger, and I still love him to this day, was Lil Wayne, Weezy F Baby. Wayne was like my favorite all time, and this is when he was a young. This is before he was the person he is today. I just felt like he communicated my story so much. So I used to try to tell my stories like he would tell his. It would be mine, but it would be like kind of the perspective. I would try to kind of borrow the perspective that he used to talk about it. So along with that, freestyling, listening to beats, and just kind of listening to artists that you do like and figuring out, if it makes sense to you. Um, Counting bars, learning how to count bars. That goes a great long with it because bars are a musical measurement within rap, and it makes the rhyme. We talked about the rhyme and the musicality. It makes it make sense, and it makes it everything on time, and it makes it sound right. We got more time to play that video.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'm gonna play this video. Um, let's see here. All right, is that it? Yeah, there it is. Hopefully this comes through good.
Okay, so what is a beat exactly? So when I say beats, I don't mean the instrumental you rap on. Beats are repeating moments of time that are used to create structure in music. So they don't need to be associated with a sound, and everybody that walks this planet has an internal beat that's on repeat over and over again, and that's your heartbeat. So when you think of a beat, it's a moment of time, and you can think of beats as the heartbeat or the pulse of the music. In rap, drums will land on these beats in different patterns to guide the song. Okay? So, just as your heart rate is determined by how many times your heart beats per minute, a song's tempo is determined by how many beats there are per minute, right? So, most of the rap you listen to is in something called 4/4 time. And this is kind of what it looks like in the structure of a bar and beats, okay? So all that means is that there are 4 beats in a bar. Okay, a bar is a measure of time. That's all it is. It could be, really fast beats like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 2 bars right there. Or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's a bar. Now, how fast those beats go by in moments of time is how fast the beats per minute is, right? So if it's 60 beats per minute, it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and then so on. And if it was 120 beats per minute, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 to the 2 to the 3 to the 4. And those are the beats. Now, that it's not doesn't like so whenever somebody makes an instrumental or a track, that is what they're using. And that's where they put their drum beats in. So you see this diagram that I have here. If you think of it like every bar is that rectangular shape and then every beat is the square, that's exactly what rap is all the time. You can break down every single hip hop beat pretty much by this, like 95% of them, with the exception of some trap rap out there right now. All right, so what is a bar in rap? So a bar is a representation of a period of time in the song. So every bar has 4 beats in rap, and those beats are they can be accounted by number just to kind of keep time. So every 4 beats in rap, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is 1 bar. And you can see it again. I kind of visualized and added this in there as well, just to show you where the drums would go. And then it repeats over and over again and then starts a new bar. This continues throughout the whole entire song. So the whole song is made up of a certain amount of bars, which is just a measure of time, which is also made up of a certain amount of beats as well. So in hip hop, beat makers and producers will land drums on those beats in the song, in those measures of time, in order to create the structure of the instrumental, which is huge for us to know because we need to be able to identify and find those beats in order to rap in rhythm and stay on flow and stay in the pocket. That's why certain people sound better and more on flow than off flow. And that's why some people sound shit because they're not recognizing the kicks, the snares, and where the beats and how the bars go together. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I see in hip hop. And making rap music. So I know I'm just a word nerd, but honestly, this will help everybody and anybody that wants to learn rap. So that's it for that one. Let's get into identifying and picking apart those drums in the next one.
All right, so I had a better video to explain. It's a little bit more interactive, but for some reason, the guy's video is private. I think I'm just gonna have to make I'm gonna have to do one, right? Counting bars. And we usually teach the students like 1, 2, 3 bar, 2, 3, 4 bar, and keep going on till they got 4 bars, 8 bars, 16 bars. And usually in a rap song, the song structure is it has changed, but the normal way was a 16 bar verse, 8 bar hook, 16 bar verse, 8 bar hook, 16 bar verse. Now, rap songs used to be on the radio between 3 and 4 minutes long. Now you're talking about less than 3 minutes. Some of these rap songs are 2 minutes. They might have one long verse. They might have a hook, a long verse, maybe like 24 bars or something, and then a hook at the end, and that's it. The days of these huge hip hop choruses and hooks, I don't want to say they're over, but they're just not at the forefront right now. And also, rappers, a lot of times, rap songs would play to let the musicality of the beat speak to people. You hear that certain song. Now, as soon as the beat come on, maybe 1, 2 bars, rappers start rapping because they say that they're trying to grab your attention immediately. So it's just interesting how that's kind of changed, but usually you got to figure out the beat, the bars in the beat and how you can land your rhymes. Usually your rhymes are going to land on the 4. If there's just just a simple, I got a cat, he has a hat, thus rhyming on the 4. Now you can rhyme on the 1, 2, 3. You can rhyme on all of them, but it just depends on what you're trying to do with it. So I would definitely say freestyle, find a beat, freestyle to it, see if you can catch the rhythm of the beat, and then listen to other songs that you like and kind of get some inspiration on what they're doing or how they're sounding.
Sort of break them apart, kind of analyze them to see if you can understand how those elements came together to
Right.
make something larger.
Definitely. You know, the way I learned how to rap, so I used to like they called me the human jukebox in elementary school, but I used to write down all the lyrics. Like I memorized the entire song. So somebody would say, "Hey man, rap this song by Master P," and I'd know the whole song word for word. I didn't know. Sometimes I didn't know what they was talking about, but I knew the song, right? And that's how I learned. Literally, um, transcribing, the song on paper and memorizing the way that they rapped on the beat. And as beats evolved, as rap styles evolved, I just kind of learned and kind of picked it up for myself and telling my own stories and just kind of figuring the style out for myself. And a lot of people have it naturally. A lot of people just, I met some kids. I mean, we had a student. He was the youngest in a class that we had. I mean, this guy was maybe fifth grade, and he could rap like good. And like some people just got it, and some people may have to do some other things, but it's definitely a great process. Even if you never want to produce anything or do it, it's just something fun, something fun to do.
I agree. Well, thank you everyone for attending. And thank you so much to our new friend Sauce. We so appreciate you coming on today and teaching us. I had a great time.
No problem. I hope everyone who was here today had a great time and learned something. And anyone who watches it, man, I just hope this brings value to any part of your life. And if you want to rap, I hope this inspires you to go about and do it. And because you never know. You never know. A lot of rappers that are big, they never knew they was going to get like that. I recently worked with Intel, the computer company, the technology company, the semiconductor company. I never in my life knew that $1 billion company would want to buy songs from me, um, and tell my story. Help tell my story through their social media platform. So, it's just amazing what you can do when you want to pursue something like this and put it out there in the world, put it out in the public, produce a product and put it out there in the public. You never know who's listening. You never know what can happen with it. But in its simplest form, hip hop is a great way to just and rap is a great way to um, experiment with creative writing and communicate a message. So it's deeper than rap.
Thank you again. And how can we follow you and find you?
So I'm mostly active on Instagram. You can
Great.
find me at they call me Sauce, and I'll put it in the chat. And yep, and if you put that in, you just type in "they call me Sauce" on Google or Royce Sauce Handy on Google. Different articles of me, videos, podcasts, interviews, stuff like that come up. Music, of course, and things of that nature. But on social media, I'm mostly active on Instagram. At They Call Me Sauce. You can listen to my music on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, Bandcamp. Just it's all They Call Me Sauce as well.
Well, I hope everybody goes to listen to some great music today and maybe starts writing something.
Yep, definitely. And if you do, hit me up. I want to hear it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, everybody, have a great rest of your day. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Royce. We so appreciate your time.
Mhm. All right, thank y'all, man. I really appreciate you reaching out to me, and you know, had a great time as well.
Good. Okay. Bye, everybody.